So it's amazing to have you here.
It's amazing to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I've known you all my life and I've always seen this leadership ability in you. Whether it's an event in our group or the basketball team or even being a prefect in school. What does being a leader mean to you?
I think being a leader is one of the things that I'm very proud that I can do well. It's one of the skills that I proudly possess, so to say. Being a leader for me means understanding everybody, like understanding my team, understanding their needs from me. And understanding in such a way, like I think two of the main things that I like to understand, and like why I say understanding is because when I have a team, be it when I'm organizing a birthday party, or be it a team event for like school when I was a prefect, or basketball team, whatever. I think first I like to understand what my teammates can offer to the goal that we're trying to achieve. Yeah, I like to see their strengths. I'd like to see how much can I enable them more. How can I motivate them more. And then secondly, I also like to, like when we have a situation, obviously if you're working towards a goal, we're going to have problems and we're going to face issues. I think in those times also I'd like to understand, okay, this is the situation. I'd like to empathize with them, and then get to the point where okay, अब इससे हम इसका solution निकाल सकते हैं, knowing that this is what they're willing to put into. So I think that because at the end of the day, I think a leader is a mentor first, right? A leader should know how to guide someone, and how to help them put their best foot forward to enable them. So I think that's what I've always tried to do, and I think that's what leadership means to me.
I actually have seen that in you, where you just know what clicks people and what gets them going.
I think at the end of the day, all of us have some strengths in our, like that feather in our cap, like. So we are all good at one thing or the other. I think I'll try to look for that one thing in every person, every teammate that I get.
That's very nice. So communication plays a big part not only in leadership but in all relationships. And I know it's something you have been actively working on for the past, I think, 2 or 3 years now. What is the importance of communication?
I think communication, for like you said, it means a lot to me. But for me, why it means that much is because it has its own gains, both personally and in a professional environment too. I think talking about relationships first, when you are in a relationship with anybody, friends or family, anything, I think communicating helps you build trust. And I think in a relationship, that is the most important thing, to have that trust in that person. When you communicate, it makes you, like, if suppose I take the first step and I come and talk to you about something, you'll know that I trusted you, and that is why to make you reciprocate that and be like, yeah, I trust you too. And then we can have a healthy space wherein we are talking about everything that's happening in our life.
Each other's
lives. So that, I think communication for me in relationships, I think that's why it's important. And not just when things are fine, even when things go down, then at that point it's like, if I maybe make a mistake, which I will, all humans, we make mistakes. So when you make a mistake, you will be like, okay, I didn't like this. Because we've been communicating, you will come up and tell me that, okay, this is what happened, this is what I didn't like. And I'll know. Otherwise, so communicating in a way helps you avoid misunderstandings also. In a professional, I think it helps us, again, understanding to like it helps us develop a very good understanding. But it also helps us be a more efficient team, because you're communicating your needs, you're communicating everything that's happening. There's no miscommunication. Har step pe okay, this level pe ye chal raha hai, this level pe ye chal raha hai. So it helps you work more efficiently. So that is why communicating has always been a very, very important point for me. Ki hona hi chahiye wala things. So yeah.
It is one of your principles.
Yeah, it is. One of my main principles is that if this person is close to me personally, or if there is a team that I'm given, I make sure that they know I'm willing to communicate, and I want that from their end too. So I think that is
definitely a two-way street.
Yeah. That's something I always try to establish. First things first, what am I say? That's one of them.
And how can we improve our communication skills, if there's something you applied in your life?
I think for me, initially, communicating wasn't very easy. It was one of the things that came to me eventually, obviously not very easily. I was someone who always confided in other methods of sorting problems. But I think communicating helps you analyze things better, helps you like this is personally, by the way. In professional things, obviously, like I said, efficiency and all. But communication improve. Okay, obviously, you first start. You need to know that you need to put all those thoughts of wo kya sochega, what will it happen, all of that aside. It's tough, but it can be done. You need to know, okay, this is necessary. It is, and it helps in a lot of ways. So it's very important that you start communicating, because unless you take that step, सामने वाला won't be willing to do it. So you need to take that first step yourself first. Only then will you get that from the other side. I think my advice to anybody who is having trouble communicating is start by trusting one of your closest people. Personally, or in a team, you have that right hand person. Try talking to them. Maybe it helps.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a 17-year-old, I know you have a favorite word, and it might sound silly to a few people, but it holds a lot of importance to you and it has a lot of depth.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite word?
My favorite word is grateful. If my mom allows me to do this, I'll someday like to get it inked on like a tattoo or something. I always tell her, yeah, I will get a tattoo. But I think grateful has a lot of meaning in my life. In one of my lows, I would say, I realized the importance of having a positive approach to life. Like any time जब हमारे life में कुछ भी आता है, like anything that life throws at us, I think we sometimes, not every, like at least I wasn't someone who would approach that very positively. I used to crib a lot or rant or be like,
Complain.
why me? Why, like, मेरे साथ ही क्यों हो रहा है? And instead of looking for the solution, I was like, obviously in the search of the solution, I was not very positive towards things. But I think grateful, the word helps me see how full my glass is. It helps me see what I have and appreciate what I have. Again, knowing how full my glass is also motivates me to then face what is in front of me, face the problem, face whatever I have in front of me, and be like, I already have so much. So like they say, when you have 100 reasons to give up, look for the one
reason
that'll make you stay, right?
Yes.
That'll make you keep you fighting. I think grateful reminds me of those reasons that I have to keep fighting. So I think that's why it's my favorite word. And yeah, that's why I also tattoo, because I need to remember yes.
Especially in the darkest times, right?
Yeah, I think it's like you always say, it's easier to remember when it's easy, but it's not that easy to remember when things are not going the way you want them to. So yeah, I think that's why I'm grateful.
One good thing when things are going wrong, latch on to the one good thing in your life and it can change into a million good things.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you've been journaling for a long, long time now. Why did you start journaling?
I don't remember the specific incident that happened that led me to journaling, but I remember that I don't remember like exactly what happened, but I remember I was having a bad day. The next day I had like a test or something. So I came back home and I was trying to study, but obviously nahi hua, because there was so much going on in my head. When you have a bad day, you're like, kash ye kara hota, so things would have been different or something like that. And I think even I was doing that. So I wasn't able to study, and I remember meri busy bhi padi thi wahan pe, rough book. And I picked that up and there were loose pages, so I removed them and I just started writing without thinking ki koi se padhega ya कुछ और होगा. I just wrote only to get it out, because you want to talk to people, sometimes नहीं होता. So I wrote about it. I wrote about everything that went wrong. And by the time I finished both the sides of the page and I had written everything, I felt so much better, so much lighter, it's done, yeah. Because I had went it out and I in a way expressed myself. So I felt so much better. I think that day was the day I picked it up, because it worked for me that day. So I was like, aage bhi karega. So it started off with pages. I used to write on pages first, whatever happened. But initially it was only about bad days. Then I was very happy because I think it was my birthday or someone's birthday, I don't remember. But then it started the good days. Then I got a diary. So फिर उसमें लिखना शुरू हुआ, instead of the pages. But yeah, I think journaling for me उधर से शुरू हुई थी कि writing about the good and the bad days. And today I did it regularly, and then today also I do it quite often. So yeah.
Any advice for someone who might pick up journaling?
I think journaling, helps in a lot of ways. It's one of the most magical things that I've experienced. It helps you analyze things. It helps you express yourself better.
Become more articulate.
Yes, it helps you. Yeah, like even I think even for communicating, the first thing that if you're having a lot of trouble, like you want to tell someone कि हाँ मुझे बताना है मेरी problem क्या है, but you don't know how to sometimes. You don't know what words to put in, or you don't exactly know how to describe the problem. I think writing about it first will give you that sort of clarity कि हाँ ये हो रहा है exactly. This is my problem. This is what I need solution to. So I think journaling is that magical thing. I think if you have to, you can't force it. So don't listen to this and be like, okay, today I have to start journaling, pick a page and start writing. No, it has to be something that you feel like doing. It has to be something that jo andar se aaye. So I think, but if you are someone who wants to start, I think pick a good day. Don't pick a bad day. Like pick a good day. Write about. I think if your birthday hasn't come in 2023, I want you to pick your birthday. Write that day. Everything that happened, every person that surprised you, everything that. Every cake you cut, what you ate,
what you're grateful for,
what you're grateful for, all of it. And I think from that day onwards, you can try to build a habit. कि okay, अब मैं every once a week लिखूंगी या whatever. And I think that's how you can. That's one of the first steps you can take to journaling. But my advice to anybody who hasn't started journaling yet is do it soon. Discover the magic of journaling because it's amazing.
So journaling is basically conversations with yourself, and in conversations you gain so much more clarity than you would just in raw thoughts.
I think journaling helps you develop this healthy relationship with yourself. I think even for me it did that. Over the years I understood myself better. I gained a sense of self-belief ki yes, you know, I started believing in myself more. I started understanding myself better. Because now when I look at if I'm reading one of my old diaries, I look at how I've had good and bad days. So then I know कि हाँ okay, the bad days come but good भी आते हैं उसके बाद. And and it also helped me कि reminds me कि ठीक है, this too shall pass. You've done it before, you'll do it again. So yeah,
that's real. That's a profound thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've always been someone who's seen opportunity in adversity. How have you applied that in your life?
I think for me, seeing opportunities, I think most of the times those opportunities that I look for, that positivity I look for in adversities, most of the time it helped me like find the solution to that problem. But I think in one of the biggest times that I applied it was when the lockdown hit. I think I was someone, just before the lockdown, everything for me was going in the most perfect way I could have imagined. Yeah. I think all of us in my friend group, I think all of us were in that fairy tale world. And I think for me it was even more because I had recently joined the basketball team and I had a very good class and house activities I was doing very well. So when the lockdown hit, it was it was a different time obviously, but also a very difficult one. I think it was that way for the entire world. But like to see it from my point of view, first I'd say I took that time of being first obviously initially बहुत बोर हुआ कि अकेले रहना है and we were all very confused, but I took that, I think for me that time was a blessing in disguise, where I took that time. I spent a lot of time with myself
working on yourself.
Not just initially I wasn't doing anything, working on myself. I think I would say that was post lockdown, but I think I took the lockdown, like the first lockdown at least, to understand myself. To understand myself better, I would say, to understand okay, because there were obviously areas where I could have developed like that I could have developed on more, or that I could have entirely built from scratch, right? So for me, I think lockdown was that time where being alone for me first was like, अरे कितनी बड़ी problem हो गई. But I think eventually, when I started to see the positive side of it, I started doing a lot of new things. But I think everybody did a lot of new things in the lockdown. But I think for me, I not only like just about myself, I also realized, okay, I like baking. I baked a lot of things, and so basically in that time, which according to me, because I had come out of that fairy tale world, excuse me, and into this very into a very different time
environment.
Yeah, I think for me that time I took that, like that was my opportunity That was, I think, the lemon juice I made out of the lemons that I got. So yeah, I think that is one way I've applied it into my life. But I think to see it in a very different way, I think all of us have done it sometime or the other. It's just we don't really understand it. Like I think just let's take the lockdown from a general point of view. I think everybody made that dalgona coffee. Even my mom, I think in the lockdown, she loves cooking, but in the lockdown, she did way too much cooking. Yes, I spoke about this, I think, so many times. She made momos at home. She made pizza at home, dough included. And we used to, and it was an entire process. Subah, she would decide what she's gonna make, and evening ka dinner was a feast. So we were like, ठीक है यार, the lockdown got like enabled us to do so many things. I think that is what we should learn from any adversity that comes our way. कि we should look at it like इससे क्या सीख के निकल सकती हूँ. That is the main thing that I also try to do. कि how can I come out of this phase stronger, a better version, and learned like सीख के आऊँ कि अब अगर वापस if I like not just like I'm not talking about lockdown now, but in general, if when you fall, I think I want to learn that when I get up after that, I want to know ki if by chance I fall down again, I should know how to get up, how to get out of this
Faster.
again. Yeah, faster and again in a better way, stronger. So I think that is what I do when I'm in a difficult situation.
What is one thing you keep in mind when you're dealing with a situation or a problem?
I think I try to, one thing that I keep telling myself is, again, like I said, this too shall pass. Because I think at times, in those difficult times, it's hard to believe कि ये हो जाएगा, ये निकल जाएगा. You would most like, there are so many times that I've been like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna end. I don't think like this is like, now it sounds stupid even when I'm saying it out loud. But I think in that state of mind when you're going through so much, I think in that time it's hard to believe that now things will go back to normal. Like in the lockdown, for initially for a few weeks you thought, "Arey abhi chala jayega, nothing. Today they'll open and we'll." After a few months, all of us lost hope. Ki now what will be, and we were all confused also. Ki what will be the new normal, right?
Yes.
I think even in any other situation this happens where you're like, you don't. It's also because you don't know कि इस tunnel के आगे है क्या. You forget that there is light, but moreover you don't know what that light will show you, right? So you're always in this कि what if this changes things? What if those what ifs, bad what ifs? I think those I want to avoid and not keep I don't want to overthink about them, and I want to be like I keep reminding myself that this will pass, and that you just have to keep going with some hope. So I think that will be that.
Even when you don't believe that things will get better, it's a fact that things will get better.
Yeah.
So
they always do. There's this one thing I read. If it's not good, it's not the end. So I heard someone say it. So I think that also I'd like to remember the next time I'm in a spot.
what's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote would be "Everything happens for a reason." I picked it off of a speech of I think one of the biggest motivations that I have as a celebrity is Steve Jobs. He said it in one of his speeches that the dots always connect looking backwards. So when you look back, I think everything that happened, everything that went down, you start to understand कि okay, ये इसीलिए हुआ था because I would learn this. This is why I felt only to learn this. So I think when I'm in a situation, I always try to remember that whatever is happening, it's happening for a reason. Now I might not like it. Now it might not make sense. But when I'm out of this, it will make sense. So find out why it will make sense and get out of this.
And learn.
Because, learn, be stronger, all of that.
In retrospect, it all makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of sense.
Okay, if you had an unlimited supply of money, what would you do as a profession?
I think if I had unlimited supply of money, there are a few things I would do. But I think one of the things that would top my list would be to start my own company. If by then I have that idea.
Stellar idea.
Yeah, that idea that, not just idea, but I think even the experience that I need to start that company. I think I would love to do that. To start that company with that money, invest in that. But also not professionally, personally, I would like to buy a convertible car because I promised my dad I would give him a ride in that. So, yes, that also.
Okay. What's a piece of advice you wish you had received earlier?
Interesting. One piece of advice.
You can take your time.
Again, I think the same thing, but one thing that I wish would have been told sooner is that we all have the strength within us. I think I didn't get this as an advice. I think it's a lesson I learned only. But I think this is something I wish I learned a little like
Earlier?
prior, yeah. But I think because we don't realize, like I never would have realized how much I'm capable of doing, how much I can push myself, what I can achieve. I don't think I would have ever realized that. Thanks to I think a lot of people who pushed me to my limits told me to see that I can do much more than what I'm, assuming myself to do. I think that is something I wish I had done sooner because if you knew there like कभी कभी लगता है ना कि if I knew this पहले I would have done so much more. So like I think those were the things I used to underestimate myself a lot. So I think that piece of advice that okay you are also strong, you can
Believe
do
in
this.
yourself.
Yeah, believe in yourself more. I think that is one advice I wish I received sooner.
That's very cool. Okay, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think in 5 years I'd like to see myself in a good college, passing out of a good college, depending upon what I choose. But yeah, I think there, I don't know, maybe after that doing a job or going to a college for MBA or something like that. But I think one thing I'd like to see myself, the thing that I want to see for sure is happy and being content that okay, this is what I've achieved, this is where I am, I'm happy that I'm here, I'm grateful that I'm here. I want to have no regrets basically. Like first thing on my list will be having no regrets. Like when I look back, I shouldn't feel like यार काश यहाँ पे I would have like even today when I look back at the 10 years of school, I don't feel like obviously थोड़ा रहता ही है कि I could have done better and I think that should remain because
Never be satisfied.
yeah, you should never be satisfied. You should always be like, yeah, I could have done better. But that's not a regret, so to say. I think that's just to keep pushing yourself another thing. But I think regret as in I don't wish I would have like even if I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing that I did in the 10 years. So I think that even 10 years from now, not just 5, even 10 years from now, I wouldn't want that key to change something. So I think I'd like to try whatever new comes my way, do whatever it is, only to not regret it when I look back. So yeah.
That's really good. Actually, someone I really look up to had said this thing that rather an oh no than a what if.
Yeah.
What that means is, in hindsight, it should be like, shit, मैंने ये क्यों किया? Instead of what if मैंने ये किया होता?
I think making a mistake, even if it's an oh no, I think it teaches you so much that at the end you will be khush you did it. You'll be very happy that you did it because if you make a mistake, worst case scenario, you fall down. And I think that also teaches you something, makes you stronger. So I think
For sure.
oh no's are any day a good to go situation.
Okay. What's the worst piece of advice you've received?
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I remember. Worst piece of advice I received was a lot of people in my life tell me that you live in a very dreamy world, in a very positive world. Obviously, this is after lockdown, that is. But a lot of people have told me this, ki, you're too positive, man. You're all the time too positive, or you don't see the reality. But I think that is one thing that I did take it. Like I did let that get into my
Consider it.
head. And today, if you ask me, it's a big no. I think I do see the reality, but I like to have a positive approach towards it. And I don't think I'll change that. I think I like my dreamy world, and I'll stay there because I think if I'm in that dreamy world, I can perform better.
That's the only way you achieve it.
Yeah.
If it's in your head.
I think that helps me have a better perspective towards everything in life. So dreamy or real, for me it is one of the best things, one of the best approaches that I can have. So the worst piece of advice was that don't be so positive all the time. Try to be practical. Try to have logic. Don't be so emotional. I think all of that, I would never consider it. I did consider it. It was a mistake, but I won't do it again.
So there's this very famous quote that all things are created twice, once in your mind and once in real life. So if it doesn't exist in your mind,
Exactly.
you can't.
I think in that dreamy world, I also manifest a lot. So, I tell myself I can do this, I can do that. And I think that's what gives me that positivity that, I am capable of so much more. So, no matter what, because I think at the end of the day, if you believe you are something, 100 people saying anything else won't change it. But if you don't believe it, even one person, the least important person in your life says something, you will believe it. You will believe कि हाँ वो जो बोल रहा है वो है.
सही है.
Because you are not believing in yourself first, right? So I think that is why it's important कि मेरा वो dreamy. I think it's like a bubble, so to say, but I don't let anybody burst it. So that's a different thing. But yeah.
What you said, you believe in manifestation, from what I just gathered.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you perform manifestation, or how do you manifest something?
I think manifestation for me also started at a very basic level. Whenever I used to have a dance performance in school or when I had to give a speech or something, I picked it up actually from one of my teachers, and she told me ki go in front of the mirror and tell yourself you can do it. So I think that's where I took the first step towards manifestation. Manifestation, I think, helps me believe that I can do it, because sometimes, be it things that are reachable or out of reach, I think we all, even no matter how long you practice to put up a show, one day before it, 15 minutes before it, stage fright, nervousness, what ifs, all of these do come into play. But I think if I've manifested it helps me tackle those things better. I think it helps me be like, nahi, kar sakti hai, like that. So manifesting it, telling myself I can do it, makes me feel like, okay, this can be done, this is real. So it pushes me to defeat all those other negativities and go ahead and give my best.
Okay. And the ultimate question, what does being relentless mean to you?
Oh, it's a lovely word. Being relentless, the word relentless actually was, it was, I think, not introduced, but I was reminded of it in a way by our beautiful host here. She gave me a book in the lockdown. One second.
You can take your time, it's okay.
I don't know what's up with my throat. So, our beautiful host here gave me a book called Be Relentless by Tim Grover. And that book talks about a lot of things. It talks about in that book, typically if I talk about it, being relentless, it talks about one of the legends of basketball, Michael Jordan, and it tells us how he had that relentless attitude towards things. And basically in that book they tell us that relentless is the way the author sees it, it is that never being satisfied attitude. You're always even at the highest level, Michael Jordan was never satisfied. He was he knew what he had, he knew the skills he had, but he always wanted to work better. He always wanted to improve on them. But so I think that obviously is a beautiful meaning. But the way I see it, I think relentless is not just something you do when being relentless is not just something you should do when you're at a certain level. I think it's something that all of us should have in a day-to-day life, because when you're in when you fall, right, it's not ऐसा तो कहीं नहीं लिखा कि एक ही बार गिरोगे, right? You will fall a lot of times, and failure being failure, it happens a lot of time, it occurs a lot of time. So I think in those times, being relentless for me means being consistent. Just keep going, keep fighting, having that fighter attitude कि यार रुकना नहीं है, थक गए ठीक है, you can take a break but don't give up. Like being relentless for me, I think would mean that keep at it, keep going consistently, keep fighting. Be it at a good time or a bad time, keep fighting, keep improving. Try to do better every day. Try to be a better version of yourself every day. I think that is what being relentless means to me.
That's beautiful. Okay, it was amazing to have you here, and I hope that everything you've said, I'm sure everyone who's listening to this can apply it in their lives?
It was amazing being here. I really hope that whatever I said helps you, all of our viewers, in some or the other way, pick up whatever you like out of this. It was amazing being here. So grateful to have this opportunity. And this is your first episode. Give it up for Ananya Siriki, guys.
Thank you so much.
I'm proud of you for starting this. Stay tuned. There's a lot coming. So have fun and keep listening to these podcasts. Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll have you here again.
I hope to be here soon. Had a lot of fun today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.